Hello again, Drumboy reads slow, back with some comic book content. I don't know why I did that with my head. Anyhow, today is going to be a special episode, but it's not going to be a unique episode for long. I'm going to be starting a series that's going to be trying to keep up more with the weekly titles, but that are a little bit closer in infancy, so that I can give people checking out these reviews a better chance at going walking into a comic book shop and actually plucking individual issues off a shelf or just ordering them and actually having a chance to get caught up and be part of the moment as it's being released. Be part of the community. It's always fun for me. An example of that is when you're checking out a comic book and you haven't read it yet, but you're kind of like paying attention to what everyone says about it the week of its release, and that always gets me. And then when I finally do read it, I have this like sense of like, okay, that was their opinion, this is my opinion. And sometimes, when you're in total agreement, it feels like you're part of something. And sometimes when you're in total disagreement and you can't believe that, that guy, anyhow, long and short, there's something special about, stuff that's a little bit more current. So what I'm going to be doing today is a double dose. We're going to be featuring, this was supposed to be my Halloween episode, by the way. Sorry, I actually went and lived my life for a little bit yesterday instead of making comic book content. So one day late Halloween special. We got the Universal Studios Monsters, The Invisible Man from Image Comics. Hey, if there's one thing about this I really enjoyed, I'm going to get to that. It's the art. I really like the art and the mood that it set. That's by James Tinian, with artwork by Danny and coloring by Brad Simpson. And then, keeping with our horror, we have Everything Dead and Dying, by Tate Bromble. I will get to the artist. I do apologize, but the art is absolutely fantastic. What we got here are two very unique horror themed books, and we're gonna break into them a little bit and see if there's something that you like from my description, and maybe you'll be reading them next week. First up, we have The Invisible Man from Image Comics. This is part of the Universal Monster series. This is a miniseries. We have 3 issues so far, and you can expect issue 4 on November 26th. All right, so getting into it with The Invisible Man, we're 3 issues in. I'm pretty excited about issue 4, to be honest. This is a 4-part miniseries, and so it's going to be on the radar for a short time here, and I'm expecting several titles to be on the radar for a short time. A lot of what I'm going to be featuring are miniseries. I want to get you caught up, but in the meantime, we got The Invisible Man, and first of all, the artwork. The artwork is gritty. It takes me back to my 80s, my 80s comics, where the artwork had a visceral rawness to it that just made the setting so awesome. This definitely takes a bit of the the rawness that I'm thinking Alan Moore's book about Jack the Ripper. Now I'm forgetting the name, but it was made into a movie, and of course one of my favorite all-time graphic novels, and I can't even remember the title of it. But that's the vibes that I got from the artwork, and to be honest, so much so also in the evolution of the story. I believe, was it From Hell? Anyhow, what we have here, we're introduced to this. He's a scientist, and he's funded by somebody who has, they run research projects, and he's got a scientific rival, a guy with a smart aleck kind of, method to his madness, just always, teasing, and this guy is, what we have in this is a picture of like a sociopath, or maybe even like worse than a sociopath. Like he recognizes emotions, but he uses them to his advantage. And it's kind of interesting what has evolved. I definitely didn't see how the story was going to evolve coming. It definitely takes its time building. There's definitely a building, and there really is just a primary focus on this individual who is monkeying around with chemicals and chemical reactions that have adverse effects and lethal effects. He's unfortunately got no moral conscience about the repeated accidental euthanization of several living creatures along the way. If that's not your thing, if you can't like get your mind out of that to enjoy a horror story, then yeah, stop right here. But yeah, long and short, I gotta say, for something that's already been done before, a pretty terrible movie back in the 90s, this is pretty good. This was pretty good. I will say though that some of the praise it's been getting is a little bit overhyped. I think several of my reviewers kind of hyped up the issue 3 as one of the best comic books of the year, and while I found it interesting and appreciated the ending, I didn't see the ending coming. I do have to say they kind of overblew it a little bit. So far, I'm giving this title a 7 out of 10. It was pretty standard procedure for me. The artwork was really what made it, and I do enjoy this book in particular. I didn't want to give away too much. I didn't want to get into all the character names and everything, but yeah, expect a unique story. Yeah, it's worth it'll be worth the trade paperback if nothing else. A nice afternoon read someday. But yeah, long and short, not essential.
Next up, we got Everything Dead and Dying, a 5-parter by Tate Brumble. I gotta say, we've been here before. We've seen the setting. But this 5-parter will have you wishing you were going to get another 5 issues. It's good.
So dipping our toes in just a little bit further, at its core, Everything Dead and Dying is 100% aimed directly, kill shot at maybe I shouldn't have used the K word. It is directly aimed, target, lock and match with Walking Dead fans. You should absolutely, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, check this out. But this is a pretty unique take. I mean, we've seen it in small doses in the zombie medium before. And if you haven't, this book has been kind of the talk of the town since it's come out. If you're a comic fan, you've probably heard a little bit of the premise. But what we have is a family man. He has quietly built a life for himself while, dealing with the fact that, where he lives, out in the country, think like Yellowstone for setting. But he is dealing with the fact that he feels ostracized because he's gay, but he has found a mate. His name is Jack. His partner is Luke, and then they have a little adopted daughter, Peaches? No, Daisy. Her name's Daisy, and so they have a little, family unit going, or so you think. He's introduced as this farmer who's, coming home to his family. They're having breakfast every morning. There's a lot of character building and a lot of world building as you're also being introduced to the real reality, which he seems sometimes not only is he one of the last people on Earth, he also seems to be one of the only people immune to the apocalypse that apparently has happened. And this isn't really spoiling anything. The man is essentially keeping not just his family, who are zombified, alive, but he's also keeping the entire town that is kind of serves as home, the wider homescape of where he lives and where he's grown up and his whole life. He essentially, uses the opportunity to basically almost train all these townspeople, all these, they I guess the concept is that they, when they, aren't eating somebody, they're actually just kind of going through the motions of their last well day on Earth, before they got sick. And so, the mailman shows up and he's got this pot of ground up meat. He's still raising cattle. He's still keeping chickens and chopping them up, for meat for the zombies. And he just takes a ladle and plops some meat in the mailman's hands, and it's like it's very strange, but also very it's a page turner. But you start to kind of like be like, well, this seems like one of those concepts where it's like they just kind of took stuff, threw it at the wall, and saw what stuck. They took two ideas and fused them together. But what this really does honestly feel like is a version of The Walking Dead from the perspective of somebody who just mentally could not handle the end of the world. And as the situation goes, on and on and on, you're kind of like, well, where can this, miniseries go? Hopefully it's only 3 or 4 issues, because I'm not sure where this is going. And then all of a sudden, your more typical, okay, there are other survivors, comes into play, and that's kind of like the big reveal, of issue 1. I really can't say enough about the execution here. This was really well done. The artwork is fantastic. It definitely does, though, remind me of The Walking Dead. This is literally a love note to The Walking Dead. Issue 2, things are dramatically pick up, and I kind of see how this could, make sense only for a very short series. But to be honest with you, the way I'm hyped up, the way it's got me feeling, I'm almost wishing that, like, we were gonna get, more issues. Yeah, I mean, the premise, the storytelling, the execution, everything, the art directing, everything is just so perfect. So, like, why not go 12? And hey, who knows? Maybe if it keeps selling and keeps getting praise, it will get extended. But as of right now, we're expecting issue 3 on November 19th. I really want you to pick this one up. I don't want you to, think, oh, I've already seen all this before. I'm done with the zombie thing. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot, because not a lot of comics are executing at this level. So let's do that. But yeah, I'm gonna give this. I mean, it's still young, but my impression at the moment, and this could fluctuate based on subsequent issues as they are released. But let's go ahead and give this an 8.75 out of 10. This is almost to like 9 level, with like 10 being like the absolute, pinnacle of comics type of stuff. So anyway, that is the review. There's more to come on these. Like I said, we'll keep going. I'll bring up the old scores as I'm going, and we'll keep following this. It's going to be added to the weekly program I'm doing for the newer stuff. That might be done in increments as I go. But anyway, thank you so much. This has been Drum Boy Reads Slow, and I think you can see I read pretty dang slow. And thank you so much for sticking with me. If you're subscribed, feel free to join the party. Hey, I've been thinking of some stuff I want to do to kind of reward my viewers as things go on. And don't be surprised if I end up, kind of making some prize packs of some stuff I'm reviewing. Like, what's the point of getting someone started on a run of like 20 issues, and I'm going through the whole thing. And yeah, you can get on, but like holding it, sometimes you just have that comic fan awakened in you, and you want it. So I don't know. This might be a long-term plan, but I'm thinking about, like coming up with some like prize packs so some people can, get some catch-up packs, as for being loyal followers. But we'll see what happens. I'm no shill. I just really want people to read these books. I love a good comic book. There's nothing better. Movies aren't doing it. Nothing is doing it like comics right now for me. So let's just say that, and I'm gonna cut this video. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, that's a really good video I got.